Okay, I'm going to show you how I took this ring light bulb cover off. What I use is like you know on your iPhone or whatever phone when you change your SIM card, get something kind of skinny and then you just kind of like get it going in the little edges of on here. Once you can, you get to go up in there. And I also have this little plastic stick. So once you get that going, you can stick the stick in and you can pry it. You can pry it up. But what'll happen is, as you're going around the edges to pry it up, it's gonna want to come back down. So I just took like a Q-tip or something, stuck it in there. So as it comes back down, it won't snap. So you just go around the whole edge and you pry it up, and then eventually you'll get it to pry up. And then this is what's holding it. It's like clipped in here. You got clips, and it clips onto the edge right up in here. So once you get those up, you can take this ring off. And then chances are you taking it off because you broke the wiring. As you can see, the wire is broken here. So it's best to go ahead and solder, splice and solder the new wire to here. So if you have a soldering iron, you can do that, but in here you have like a couple of screws. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove all these screws. Feel how here it's like 1, 2, 3. It's 3 screws holding this in. These are like LED lights on the thing. So I don't know, you may be trying to do an LED light replacement, or you just broke your wire like what happened in this case. So you remove the 3 screws and look at how the wiring is, because once you take the wiring out, you want to put the solder the wires back in the same way. So it's white, red is positive, white is negative, red is positive, and the black is, it looks like a positive. Okay, I guess it's a +1 and a +2. So black is +2, white is +1. I mean -1 and -2. And the red is positive. So that's what you have to do. Once you lift these up, you'll be able to put, you take the screws off, desolder these, just heat them up, take the wires off, splice your new wire, like hopefully you have like some wire cutters, if not a sharp X-Acto knife or something that can splice the other wire. And then you just put it in this order and put everything back together. So I hope that helps somebody. I'm probably not going to go through the step of showing how I solder it and stuff, but we'll see. So I removed the 3 screws that's holding down the LED light. So this should now pop out of the casing. I'm gonna use this plastic thing that comes, like if you buy a tool kit for your phone, hopefully you have a tool kit for your phone. You can get all this stuff like on Amazon for really cheap to nothing. It'll give you all these things to do. So I'm gonna just take this thing and just put it in the side, and as you can see, it pops up. So now I'll pull it out and voila. Now all I have to do is just get my cord and, like I said, heat up the solder joints on here. Heat up these solder joints, take these wires off and replace them, and then run the cable back through and pop everything on, and it should be good as new and working. So that's the plan. I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. That's why I'm not gonna really show you all that, but let me go splice the other cable that's broken, okay? Okay, here's the wire that goes to this light thing. Now what I want to do is, as I said, I need to, let me see if I can focus that. I want to do it close. I need to, that's blurry, but anyway, what I want you to see is the sleeving. Now I have an X-Acto knife here. And if you don't have an X-Acto knife, maybe you could use a box cutter or something. But you know, this is just what I'm using. And what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna just put a little bit of, you know, if you ain't used to doing electronic things, I'm gonna put a little bit of cut. You could feel it, you know, but it takes years of practice. I'm into electronics, so I know how to do it. Just kind of lightly cut around the sleeving, but not all the way through so you don't get to the insulation on the inside. And then just kind of bend it. And then this has come off, but just make a little, I can't hold the camera and show you at the same time, but with the knife, what you want to do is you want to just barely cut into the insulation. You know, you can feel it, just hold it. Be careful, don't cut yourself, because these are very sharp. Okay, they do surgery with these type of knives and stuff. So you want to just barely cut into the insulation, and then you kind of just bend it back and forth, the insulation, and then it'll open up, and then you can just, you know, take your finger and slide it off. So that's what I'm going to do, okay? So as you can see, I was kind of like rolling this into my, I don't know if you can see that good. Hopefully you can see. But see how I'm bending it and it's exposing the wire? So I was taking this knife. And I had it on the wire, and I was just kind of just rolling the wire in my hand, you know, to make a round circle, just barely cutting into the insulation. And then when you start seeing it break a little bit, that's when you stop, because you know, as you bend it, it'll break more, and then you can get to the insulation. But that's what you want to do, okay, when you're using a knife to splice your wire. Otherwise, you get some real wire strippers to do this job. I don't have the wire strippers for this, so this is what I'm doing. As you can see, I bend and took the insulation off by bending it and just kind of touching it slightly with the X-Acto knife and bend it and just slightly touch it. Now all you have to do is just strip these wires. If you have wire strippers, go ahead and do them, but other than that, you can still use the knife. Just be careful to not, you know, damage the insulation of the conductive wires on the inside of the insulation. So just slowly go around it. And then you may want to have some cutters too, so you can cut the wire to the length that you want. And I suggest tinning the wire prior to soldering it, so it don't be all spread out. Tinning is just when you put some solder on the edge of the wire to make a, you know, a nice little, so it don't separate. And you can make a better solder joint, because now your solder don't have to be sucked up into the wire as along with the solder joint down here. Oh, and don't forget, before you solder the wire to this, run the wire through where you doing the job, because otherwise you solder this to here and that's not going to be, you solder this and your wire's not going through, you're going to be mad. So make sure you run this wire prior to, you run it through the hole and then run it up prior to soldering these wires down. You don't want to do it and then be like, I messed up. So that's what you want to do, okay? Like I said, run this wire through here. I done already ran it through already. I'm gonna run it through prior to, you know, cutting my wires to where I can solder them back on, okay? So run it through there. Don't forget to do that. Okay. Okay, I've cut and tinned the wires somewhat. it's not a great tint job. I'm not under the microscope, so, you know, it's not aerospace, so it's not rocket science, you know. So I'm going to heat it up with the soldering iron. Got some solder. And tinting is, you just take a little bit of solder and you put it to the wire, so this way it won't separate when you're trying to solder it down to the lighting component. So I'm gonna unsolder these wires, run these wires through, and put them in place, and then put everything back together, and we'd be in business. Okay, I soldered the thing. It's not my best solder work, but you know, under these conditions, this is commercial, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not doing aerospace. So let's test it out, see if it works. It works, so that's all we care about. So now that it works, I'm gonna put everything in reverse. I'm not gonna, from here, I guess you got it. Just put your screws in and pop the light back in, and you should be in business. Good luck.